Alright, let me talk to you. Over the course of the last year or so, I have done several playthroughs of Stardew Valley on this channel. Many mods have been used as part of these playthroughs, so the question is, what do I do for the next playthrough? The answer? I use more mods than any one person could ever possibly need. I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet. The goal of this playthrough is to achieve perfection, of course. Normally I would go over any mods I will be using and explain what they do, but if I did that here, this intro would be 25 minutes long. So instead, I will explain any and every mod I am using as they appear in the playthrough. As always, this playthrough will be done in 100 days format, so you will be able to see what I did every single day. Every mod I am using can be found in the description. Right, let's not dilly-dally any longer. Let's get started with day 1 of this massive adventure. To begin the first day, I opened the box of parsnip seeds Mayor Lewis gave us, which is arguably the nicest thing he has ever done for anybody. Then a magical, mystical, mysterious text box appears. Basically, we have had a very strange and creepy dream. The text box recommends that we visit the museum where we might be able to get some answers. This text box is the introduction to the Durin's Rest mod. One of the very first videos I ever made on this channel was about this mod, so I do know a bit about it, but it has been a while, so a lot of it will hopefully be fresh. I clear out a bit of space on the farm to make room for the seeds I will be planting later, make a chest and deposit my items into it. Elwa, I don't really know how to pronounce this name, Elwa, Eloise, Elwaz? I'm gonna go with Elwa, I think that sounds correct. Elwa has sent us a letter. I must say, I was very surprised to see we had a letter available to read on the very first day. Elwa is a villager included in the East Scarp mod. They mentioned that their father is a vet and hopes I will become friends with their father. Maybe, we'll see what happens. At the bus stop, I eavesdrop on a conversation Lewis is having with his sister Lenny. Lenny is the chief administrator of Ridgeside Village. Lewis, as always, isn't exactly friendly in this conversation. I really wish there was a mod that had Krobus or Willy take over as mayor of Pelican Town. I feel like that would be a lot better for everybody involved. I head into Pelican Town where I talk to Kenneth, one of the many villagers included as part of the Ridgeside Village mod and one of the many villagers in the game overall. I enter the museum and talk to Gunther. He also had a strange dream. A shadow figure told him I would be visiting him. He finds warp totems in a book and gives them to us. I collect these warp totems and use them to teleport to Durin's Rest. The one unfortunate thing about Durin's Rest is the Vibrant Pastoral Recolor mod does not work in this area. So unless there's a way to fix this that I don't know about, this area is going to look different aesthetic-wise from every other area in this playthrough, but that's not too big of a deal in my opinion. Thankfully, the mod itself more than makes up for this. I visit the home of a villager named Durin who wants us to defeat slimes in the area. These slimes drop salt which we need to give to Durin. Before we leave his house, Glorgan shows up and says he can give us a weapon that will aid us in our quest. Sweet. I immediately enter Glorgan's house and retrieve a hammer from his chest. Not only will this hammer help us with this quest, it will also make going through the mines easier as we won't have to rely on the starter sword Marlin will give us later on. I defeat a group of slimes with relative ease and collect all of the salt I need. I give this salt to Durin, completing his first quest. I receive 20 barley seeds as a reward. Durin has also instructed us to visit the market, which I do. Upon entering this market, I receive another quest instructing me to return to Durin's house. Durin has already taken a liking to us thanks to everything we have done so far, but he mentions that there are other villagers who we should also work on becoming friends with. In other words, I have to reach one heart of friendship with everybody in this town. I receive a Dwarven Ale and use the Look Up Anything mod to find out how much it's worth. Almost 2,000 gold. That is going to give us a lovely head start when we sell it. Like I said, I have a quest to reach one heart of friendship with Aaron, Balor, Durin, Edris, and Glorgan. As well as this, I have 2 other quests. The first is to deliver 30 bone fragments to Durin, at which point he will allow us to enter the old mines in the town. The second quest requires me to plant the barley seeds Durin gave us, harvest them, and give 10 barley to him. All in all, I would say these are pretty handy. I use a warp totem to get back to the starting area. From there, I enter the teleportation station and return to the bus stop. I sell the ale I received from Durin, bumping my bank account up to over 2400 gold. The shop here has received an upgrade as things like sprinklers, ancient seeds and coffee beans are all being sold. This is thanks to the shop overhaul mod I am using. I will be sure to point out the effect it has on other shops when I visit them. A metal detector is also being sold here. This is included in the coin collector mod. I buy the metal detector and spend my remaining gold on potato seeds. I have quite a few seeds to plant, but thankfully I can use some of the forage items I picked up today as a source of energy to do so. I plant the barley, potato and parsnip seeds I have, but I don't water them as I am almost completely exhausted. In better news, however, Durin has sent us the crafting recipe for the Durin's Rest warp totem. I'm sure this will come in handy in the future. Another trip into Pelican Town is on the table now as I want to take a look at the bounty board. Both William and Clint have quests for us. Willie wants us to catch carp and Clint wants us to collect coal. The Help Wanted mod allows us to accept more than one quest at a time, something that I'm sure will be very beneficial in terms of earning friendship points and getting some extra gold. I spend the rest of the night walking around town hoping to find something with my metal detector. Unfortunately, I do not have much luck with this, or any luck at all really. I went everywhere, but it didn't make any noise, and the green dot that appears when you're close to buried treasure did not pop up. But it was still a nice way to wind down after everything we did on this very busy first day. I collect some forage at the beach, then I pass by Sophia's house. Sophia is of course a villager included in the Stardew Valley expanded mod. So in total I am using 4 mods that add new areas to the game. Durin's Rest, East Scarp, Ridgeside Village and Stardew Valley Expanded. This means there are a ton of new recipes to unlock, fish to catch, villagers to befriend, cutscenes to watch, secrets to find, and overall just a lot more work to do than in vanilla Stardew Valley. So this will undoubtedly be the longest Stardew Valley adventure I have ever embarked on, and you know what? I am very excited to go through it all. I return to the farm, which I'm going to speak about very quickly while footage of me entering the warp room on the farm plays. I can use this warp room to teleport to the farmhouse, the quarry, the ocean, mountain, forest and river areas on the farm. I'm playing on the Ever Farm, a mod I have actually made a video about before. If you would like to know more about this farm, feel free to watch the video I made about it. The short version is, this farm is massive and I'm going to do my absolute best to make sure it looks absolutely beautiful by the end of this playthrough. I finally head to sleep, feeling very happy with everything I accomplished today. On the morning of day 2, I clear out a bunch of fiber from below our field of crops. I didn't do this for aesthetic purposes though, no, you see I want to build up a collection of mixed seeds. The Better Mixed Seeds mod I am using allows any crop to grow from mixed seeds. Under normal circumstances, this would mean that strawberries, ancient fruit and coffee beans would be able to grow from these during spring. But, as we are using the Stardew Valley Expanded mod, along with other big expansion mods, even more rare and valuable crops will grow from these seeds too. I'm going to plant as many of these seeds as possible so we can get a taste of what the crops in these mods are like. Lewis has sent us a letter. He lets us know we can use our mailbox to send gifts to the villagers. This is a way of introducing the mail services mod to the game. This mod allows us to send gifts, ask Clint to upgrade our tools, and send quest items to villagers just by using our mailbox. It will make things a lot more convenient for us. William has also sent us a letter, perhaps the most important letter in the entire game. He has returned from a fishing trip and wants us to visit him. That I shall do, Mr. William. But first, I must forage for a magnificent flower known as a daffodil. I check out the bounty board again, where 5 villagers have a quest for us. I do not know how many of these quests I will actually complete, and I do not want to bore the socks off you by reading them all, so I won't read them all. However, what I will do is let you know when I have completed a quest. I visit William at the beach and receive the fishing rod. Ordinarily, this would start a long period during which I do nothing but fish for several days in a row, but truth be told, there is so much excitement flowing through my veins. This excitement is not reserved for fishing, nay, but rather the abundance of content included in every mod I have installed. So, as much as I would like to sit and stare at my screen, catching fish after fish after fish after fish, I will not be doing that. That's not entirely true, actually. I will be doing a bit of fishing, so technically that was a lie. But, you know, I don't keep at 100, I keep at 99 because I dabble in a little bit of deception from time to time. After donating an artifact to the museum and receiving 250 gold for doing so, I do a bit of fishing at the river in front of Leah's cabin. Willie wants chubs and Demetrius wants sunfish. I catch the 3 sunfish with relative ease, but the chubs prove to be quite the kerfuffle. And by kerfuffle, I mean my heart did not long for the shrill shriek of the river and the fish it holds, but rather for the tender whisper of the big forest included in the Stardew Valley expanded mod. My arms ached to hold the forage items it contains, my soul asking delicately yet insistently to be set free in the open air of this beautiful area. I pick up an artifact in an abandoned farmhouse along with maple syrup which I found in the northwest of the area. I continue gallivanting through this mystical place, my entire being feeling at peace. I find multiple ancient sword artifacts before happily passing out. It may not be as comfortable physically as sleeping in my bed, but spiritually and emotionally it is so much better. Day 3 is of course a rainy day, which means I do not have to water my seeds. Speaking of seeds, I have collected enough forage to make 60 spring seeds. I've also got a couple of mixed seeds on me. As I am planting everything, a light bulb goes off over my head. I have just had an idea. It has been a long time since I've made a ton of tea saplings and sold them to make a bunch of money in a playthrough. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I did that. So I think that is what I'm going to do. Which means I need to do 3 more things alongside growing spring seeds and collecting forage. Number 1, I need to get Caroline to 2 hearts of friendship so I can unlock the crafting recipe for tea saplings. Number 2, I need to get a ton of fiber, which won't be difficult at all because of how many weeds there are on this farm. And number 3, I need to get a ton of wood, which again should be really easy to do because of the absolute abundance of trees on this farm. I, for one, am extremely excited about the future tea sapling empire I will be assembling. There is no time for dilly-dallying though, as I use a warp totem to get to Durin's Rest. I engage in a lengthy battle with the local slime population before returning home and getting to work on building up my collection of fiber and mixed seeds. There wasn't actually a reason for me to fight those slimes in Durin's Rest, I just wanted to let them know that I'm here now and things are going to change. No longer shall they rule this land unopposed, for I, the scallywag sensation, the master of marvellous mischief, the dabbler in delightful deeds, the tomfoolery trooper, the horseplay hero has arrived and will not tolerate their nefarious actions. And by nefarious actions, I mean keeping to themselves, harming nobody, and just kind of staying out of everyone's way. But, I mean, let's just focus on what's actually important here, and that is the fact that I have collected a total of 48 mixed seeds today. I spend a bit of time fishing, but if I'm being completely upfront with you all, my heart simply is not in it. My brain is in action mode. If every neuron, every synapse, every brain cell is not engaged all the time, then I am doing something wrong. So I stopped fishing and instead focused on planting all of the seeds I picked up today, a much more valuable use of my time in my humble opinion. Clinty Winty pays us a visit on the morning of day 4. Thanks to the copper ore I acquired at the quarry area yesterday, he has decided to give us the crafting recipe for the furnace. Although I appreciate this show of good faith, I shall not be letting my guard down. If you have watched my other playthroughs, you probably know that my relationship with Clint is tumultuous at best and bad at worst. This man always finds a way to ruin my day, typically around the 100 days mark when I can't afford for anything to go wrong. Simply put, I would rather have Gordon Ramsay critique my cooking than be friends with Clint. And that says a lot considering I am fully capable of burning water. I can make a beautiful bowl of cereal though with a delicious side of slightly warm bread. Anyway, 5 villagers need our help at the bounty board. The most important one here is Lewis's quest. He wants a 4-leaf clover and will give us 1200 gold for giving him one. This is way too good to pass up. 4-leaf clovers are found in the big forest, so I will absolutely be going there today. I may not like Lewis, but I like money. Call me a baker because I'm all about that dough. That's the yeast of my worries at the moment though, as I must first focus on my friendship with Caroline. I present her with a daffodil, laying the groundwork for an eventual 2 hearts of friendship with her. I was hoping Gus would be selling a fish taco as Caroline loves them, but like a terrible game of Yahtzee, no dice. I buy 2 salads and head to the big forest, determined to find a 4-leaf clover. As there are Irish connotations associated with the 4-leaf clover, I think now is the perfect time to practice my Irish. So I would like to share one of my favourite Irish phrases with you all. That phrase is "Tu sma la na hibra." Short and sweet, this phrase translates to "a good start is half the work." This is something I have tried to keep in mind during these first few days. I have been a very busy bee and I am sure that will continue for the remainder of spring, but it will all be worth it. I have a lot of footage of me walking through the forest, making spring seeds and planting all of my seeds, so while that footage plays, I'm going to give you all a 2-for-1 special on Irish phrases. With that being said, the second phrase is fearan slánta ná na tánta. This phrase means health is better than wealth. This is especially relevant here, as you will see in the coming days that all of the seeds I have planted end up having a detrimental effect on my well-being. Sure, harvesting all of these crops and forage items will earn us quite a bit of gold, but that comes with a price. That price being, it will take many minutes of my time to water these seeds every day. This will take its toll on me, both in terms of my character's energy and in terms of the vibes I am emitting. There will be days where the vibes will not be good, no, they will be bad, if not very bad. But I will persevere. I am nothing if not dedicated, and I will overcome this challenge. But more importantly, I will become so rich that I will literally have no idea what to spend my money on. On day 5, I am blessed with my favourite cutscene in the entire game. Marnie has dropped by the farm and she is accompanied by a dog. I'm sure you all know what is about to happen right here. I adopt the dog and lovingly name it Noodles. I would like to formally welcome Noodles to Lightman Farm. I have received a letter from a villager named Susan. She cannot access Pelican Town right now because a big boulder has separated her home in the mountain from the rest of the town. Do not fret, however, I am sure we will meet her at some point in the future. I cannot wait to ignore her when that happens. Not because I'm mean or anything like that, but rather because I have not mentally prepared myself to begin the process of working on my friendships with any villager besides Caroline. The local mine system has opened up. That is the entirety of this letter summed up. Joja really should hire someone else to write our letters. I feel like whoever wrote that letter was trying way too hard to make a short story long. Now that I think about it, I do the same thing when I write the scripts for my videos. Actually, I take back what I said. I, for one, am a massive fan of whoever wrote that letter. In fact, I feel like they deserve a pay raise. With my dignity tossed to the side, I begin the gargantuan task of watering all of my seeds. Did this take up a lot of my time? Yes. Did I regret planting all of these seeds? Yes. Will I learn from this and limit how many seeds I plant before I get access to sprinklers? Absolutely not. Who do you think I am? I use my mailbox to send the 4-leaf clover to Lewis, collecting my monetary reward immediately. I am now one happy camper. I also use the mailbox to send a daffodil to Caroline. I make use of the warp room on the farm to quickly make my way to the south, exiting the farm and entering the forest. I check out the travelling cart, but I don't buy anything. Right now, the item I would like to see the most is a garlic or a garlic seed. Pierre doesn't sell these until year 2, so I'm basically relying on the travelling cart to get access to garlic right now. I buy a few salads from Gus, then I accept a few orders, most of which I probably won't even complete. Clint does want coal though, so I feel like that's one I can actually do. I buy the first backpack upgrade, which reminds me actually, you may have noticed that I have 4 rows of inventory space. That 4th row was added by the bigger backpack mod. The price of that one is 50,000 gold, so it might be a while before I eventually buy it. I have made the executive decision to finally visit Ridgeside Village. I don't really do much here, in fact I don't even enter the actual village itself. Instead, I just do a bit of foraging. I do, however, find 2 mountain arugula, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe not though, which I am very happy about because both Robin and Caroline wanted one. So, with both of those orders taken care of, I use a warp totem to get to Doran's Rest. I continue my mission to completely eradicate the slime population for no reason at all, really. I don't know why I keep doing this. Then I make my way to the mines in Pelican Town where I meet Marlon. Ordinarily, I would happily watch this cutscene and gratefully accept the sword he gives us, but I have the hammer Glorgan gave us, so although I respect you Marlon, I'm afraid I must skip this cutscene. I enter the mines and begin the lengthy process of making it all the way to the final floor, floor 120. Of course, this will not happen today and probably will not even happen before spring is over, because knowing me, I'm going to get incredibly sidetracked by a bunch of different things. But for now, I am enjoying my escapades here. The hammer is making quick work of the slimes and other monsters, and I'm getting a delicious amount of copper ore. I call it a day when I reach floor 5 and begin the lengthy, very lengthy walk to the saloon. I show the copper ore I collected to Clint as part of the quest I accepted from him, and he rewards me with 200 gold. Back on the farm, I send the mountain arugula I collected in Ridgeside Village to Caroline and Robin to earn some more gold. But, more importantly, this also rewarded me with some bonus friendship points with Caroline. I decide to make the most of the remaining energy I have and do some mining at the quarry area on the farm before heading to Sleepy Town. Barley and parsnips are ready for harvest on day 6, what a magnificent start to the day. Watering my crops has gone from being an inconvenience to being slightly therapeutic and oddly relaxing. I'm sure that will change again soon, but I'm going to enjoy this feeling while it lasts. I have been sent some cookies in the mail, delightful. Marlon also lets us know that if we defeat 10 slimes, we can join his Adventurers Guild and enter his shop. Considering how many times I have battled that group of slimes in Durin's Rest for no reason at all, this is something that very much appeals to me. I watched the cutscene where Lewis shows us the community center. He is very disheartened by the state it is in and wants nothing more than for it to be rebuilt. Personally, if I was upset with something, I would work as hard and as passionately as I possibly could on improving whatever it happens to be. Lewis, on the other hand, has decided that the best course of action for him to take is to simply not do anything and hope that the community center simply rebuilds itself, I guess. You would think the mayor of Pelican Town would prioritize repairing such an important building, but I guess not. At this point, you might as well make Noodles my dog, the mayor of Pelican Town. As harsh as this is to say, I'm sure my dog would do a much better job than Lewis. I take a look at the calendar on the bounty board. That is a lot of birthdays and a lot of villagers that will not be receiving birthday presents from me. Caroline has requested a Winter Star Rose. I will repeat that. A Winter Star Rose. In spring. I am massively confused as to why she thinks I have access to a Winter Forage item during spring. In other news, I meet a villager named Floor just outside the community center. Let the bodies hit the floor. I can't be bothered making an actual joke with a setup and a punchline, but like, you know the song Let the Bodies Hit the Floor? It's like that, but Floor is spelled F-L-O-R because this villager's name is Floor. I apologize for that terrible joke. It will happen again. I will make jokes like that are just as bad, but I do apologize. I take a look at the golden scroll in the community center. Like the essays I wrote during my time in college, it makes absolutely zero sense. I return to the mines where I place a furnace beside a chest and toss my ores and coal into the chest. I am using the automate mod, which means the ores will automatically be placed into the chest and the bars will be taken from the furnace and placed back into the chest without me having to do anything. It is a very handy mod and I honestly struggle to play Stardew Valley without it. In terms of the mines, I end up making sort of decent progress today. Again, the hammer has proven to be very useful and has made these first few floors a lot easier than normal. I think now is a good time to mention that unlike some other playthroughs I've done, I'm not going all in and trying to make as much progress as possible as quickly as possible. I'm trying to take it easy and pace myself because there are a lot of things I'm going to have to do to achieve perfection. So realistically, I'll probably get everything done and reach perfection in year 4 maybe? I would say year 4 at the very earliest. I have played through Stardew Valley Expanded before and gotten perfection in that around the start of year 3 I think it was. So with all of the other mods I have installed, this is definitely going to be a really long playthrough. As long as I consistently have new things to discover and small goals to keep working towards, it should be a fun one all the way through. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to take my time with everything, not rush to achieve perfection, and most of all, just enjoy it. Back to the gameplay now. After reaching floor 15 in the mines and making sure my furnace is stocked with copper ore, I make my way to the saloon. I wanted to show Clint the coal I have to complete a quest he gave us. The problem is, he isn't here. So, in a desperate attempt to reach him before he goes inside his shop, I buy a coffee, drink it, and make a beeline for his shop. Unfortunately, I am too late. Clint is nowhere to be found, and I have just wasted my time and some money. I go to sleep and dream about throwing snails at Clint's front door. On day 7, I watch the Queen of Sauce TV show and learn how to make stir fry. This begins the lengthy process of watching this show every Sunday to learn all of the cooking recipes I can. The wizard has been spying on us and is aware that we have been poking around the community center, as he put it. Firstly, I was not poking around, I was just being nosy. Secondly, I do not appreciate you spying on me, you little rascal. Thirdly, I will happily pay you a visit and very much look forward to befriending you. After watering my seeds, I send a daffodil to Caroline. That is basically all of my socializing done for the day, so I am very happy. The traveling cart still is not selling a garlic or garlic seeds. That is not good. That is not good at all. I visit the wizard where he teaches me how to read the language the scroll in the community center is written in. We can now begin donating items to the community center. I take a look and the foraging bundles have not changed. Something has gone very wrong here, very wrong indeed. I installed a mod that makes the community center bundles more challenging, but it does not seem to be working properly, which can only mean one thing. I have done something wrong. I will get this fixed before I start donating things to the community center. I teleport to Doran's Rest where yeah, there you go. I give 10 barley to Doran, completing his quest and unlocking a new one. This one requires us to craft the Dwarven Medium Malter. We then put Dwarven barley into it to make Dwarven barley malt and give 5 of this item to Doran. I return to the farm where I read a letter to unlock the crafting recipe for the malter. The bad news is I need an iron bar, an iridium bar and durinium to create this machine, so it might be a while before I get around to completing this quest. But that's okay. Like I said, I plan on taking it slow with this playthrough. I talked to Lewis to complete a quest he gave us. Let me make one thing very clear right now. I did not do this for him. I did it for the money. It's off to the mines for the rest of the day to continue frolicking around and overall just having a jolly good time. I replaced my hammer with the club and this made the mines even easier. The monster-only floors especially became a cakewalk with this weapon. I make it to floor 19, but I unfortunately pass out before I can make it to floor 20. On the morning of day 8, I harvest some potatoes that I've grown. I can use a scythe for this harvesting session as I have the Harvest with Scythe mod installed. While not an essential mod, it saves a bit of time, which considering how many crops I'll be growing during this playthrough is very nice. I have also managed to get the challenging Community Center Bundles mod working, and upon looking at the new bundles, I wish I had not gotten it working. This is going to be an absolute headache based on the foraging bundles alone, and you know what? I welcome that headache. In fact, I hope it evolves from a headache into a full-blown migraine. I welcome this challenge and I very much look forward to feeling my sanity steadily and continuously leaving my body, as I meticulously gather every single item needed for each and every single bundle in the community center. I will take every ounce of dedication, passion, willpower, drive and determination and use them to the fullest extent in order to conquer the community center. I mean, I could also just buy a JoJo membership, but where's the fun in that? Anywhomst, I read a few comments on the video I made about the farm I'm using and how it links to the mines. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out where to go in order to access the mines. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be in this cave here, but it's empty right now, so I must be doing something wrong, or maybe I'm missing something? I don't know. Hopefully I'll be able to figure it out soon, because being able to get to the mines from the farm would make life so much easier. I send a daffodil to Caroline. I really want that tea sapling crafting recipe, then I make use of the part of the community mod. This mod gives you bonus friendship points for doing things like talking to villagers, shipping items, and completing bundles in the community center. In this scenario, talking to villagers near Caroline gives me bonus friendship points with her. Next up is perhaps the most scandalous form of shenanigans I have ever participated in. I enter Harvey's shop and steal 2 stamina capsules. That's right, I have the Shoplifter mod installed. I have just become a menace of the highest degree. Do I feel bad? No, not at all, especially considering those stamina capsules are worth 1000 gold. I return to the mines where I triumphantly make it to floor 20, redeeming myself after failing to do so yesterday. I make sure to keep my furnace going, returning to the surface every once in a while to do so. Floors 30 through 39 are, of course, the dark floors. Now, in the past, I have said I absolutely hate those floors as I always struggle to get through them. That is not the case anymore. When it comes to getting through the mines, I am easily top 2, and I ain't number 2.
Yeah!
That is a massive exaggeration, by the way. I'm actually pretty bad at getting through the mines. I just wanted to use that phrase. I passed out on floor 35. Day number 9 has dawned, and the first thing I do is head to the mines to collect 5 copper bars. I sell 2 stamina capsules and some other bits and bobs before entering Harvey's clinic. I wanted to do a bit of shoplifting, not a big deal, but Maru showed up and stopped that from happening. Well, I never. Maru, you have just been added to my list of enemies. I donate some gems and artifacts to the museum and collect the following rewards. Ancient Seed, the crafting recipe for ancient seeds, and 9 cauliflower and melon seeds. I talk to Clint to complete a quest he gave me, then I head back to Pierre's shop. I considered buying potato seeds, but I decided to go for spring seeds instead. If I'm going to make tea saplings, I want to make a lot of tea saplings. In fact, I want to make so many tea saplings that I end up turning into one big giant tea sapling myself. After sending my axe along with 5 copper bars to Clint in order to have it upgraded, I return to my full-time job as a farmer. It takes a bit of time to plant the seeds I have, and an even longer length of time to water everything, but I managed to get it all done. I spend the rest of the day clearing out fiber to get mixed seeds. I got so invested in this that I completely lost track of time and ended up passing out. Our first batch of spring forage is ready to harvest on day 10. This forage is used to make 130 spring seeds. That's good, that's very good even. However, it is not enough. I want dozens, if not millions, more spring seeds before I begin making tea saplings. I go to the clinic and participate in a little bit of tomfoolery, then I talk to Caroline. I also talk to Ian and Lewis, which gives me bonus friendship points with all 3 villagers, but of course the important one here is Caroline. This round of socializing was enough to bump Caroline up to 2 friendship hearts, which means her 2-heart cutscene has been unlocked. At this point, I should have gone back to the shop and entered Caroline's sunroom in order to watch this cutscene and unlock the crafting recipe for tea saplings, but I did not. Primarily because I wanted to continue making my way through the mines, but also because it is Wednesday, which means the shop is closed. So, although I wanted to watch that cutscene immediately, I could not as her husband is simply too lazy to work on Wednesdays. Despite that whole situation weighing heavy on my soul, I did manage to make considerable progress in the mines today. After making it to floor 40 and obtaining the slingshot, I returned to the surface to make sure my furnace is stocked with copper ore and coal. From there, I progressed through the icy floors, gathering iron ore and quartz, which I also add to the furnace. I make it to floor 50 where I decide to call it a day. On day 11, I finally collect the doubloons Duran sent me after completing his quest to bring him 10 barley. A doubloon is the currency used in Duran's Rest, so I'm pretty excited to see what exactly I can buy with these. After a little harvesting session involving spring forage and strawberries, I check my mail. Clint has sent us the upgraded copper axe. This mail services mod is an absolute blessing, it really does save quite a bit of time. I make 60 spring seeds, okay, nice, I believe I now have a total of 190 spring seeds. I teleport to Duran's Rest where I become reacquainted, shall we say, with the slimes here. Alright, I think it's time to let you all know why I actually do this. These slimes can drop some pretty nice items. I know for a fact they can drop diamonds and refined quartz. This is why I have been coming to this area and defeating them as often as I have been. Unfortunately though, I have had zero luck when it comes to getting either of these items, which is deeply upsetting. In the market, we can buy some boosts with the doubloons we have, which is, you know, nice, but at the same time, the more useful boots cost upwards of 1,200 doubloons, which we do not have right now. We can also use doubloons to buy hats, which I will keep in mind. Finally, various bars can be bought here too. I end up grabbing 5 iron bars, and I'm sure I'll come back to the shop in the future to get iridium bars. I have quite a bit of footage of me chopping down trees. Truth be told, I do not know why I recorded all of this. Normally when this happens, it means there is something important I want to discuss, hence me getting enough footage to play in the background while I talk about this very important topic. The problem is, I completely forget what I wanted to talk about while footage of me chopping down trees plays. This whole segment has been a complete waste of time. There's no moral to the story or punchline or anything like that. Wait, no, actually, literally as I'm saying all of this, I've just remembered what I wanted to talk about, and that is tea saplings. So by the time I unlock the crafting recipe for tea saplings, I should have around 200 spring seeds. You need 2 spring seeds to make 1 tea sapling, which means I will be able to make 100 of them. That also requires 500 fiber and 500 wood, which explains why I specifically chose to get footage of me chopping down trees. It all makes sense now. Luckily, when it comes to wood and fiber, there is an abundance of both items on this farm, and I've already got hundreds of fiber. Assuming everything goes to plan, we will make 50,000 gold from the sale of these tea saplings, as they sell for 500 gold each. I enter Caroline's sunroom where the cutscene does not play. I believe I have arrived too late. That is unfortunate, but rather than blame myself for being late, I am instead going to blame Pierre. His shop wasn't open yesterday, and if it was, then I could have watched the cutscene yesterday, avoiding this whole kerfuffle completely. As payment for the inconvenience he has caused me, I permanently borrow several items in his shop, including 5 pomegranate saplings. I utilize my upgraded axe to break a few tree stumps on the farm before spending the rest of the night chopping down trees. Not only does this give us wood, but it also rewards us with foraging XP. This was the push I needed to reach foraging level 5, where I choose the perk that gives me a chance to obtain 2 of any forage item I pick up. That being said, the other perk that gives us 25% more wood would also have been a great choice. I head to the community center on day 12, where I complete my first bundle, the construction bundle. Hardwood, fiber, wood fences, wood, stone, sap and clay are all needed for this one. The reward for doing this is a workbench. I normally use the workbench when I'm crafting every item at the end of a playthrough, so I guess I'll be able to use this one when I do that during year 5 or year 6, or I don't know how long this is going to take really. I take a look at the new bundles I've unlocked, and I think it's safe to say that this is indeed going to be challenging. Truth be told, the spring crops and quality crop bundles might already be a lost cause. I shall do my best, however, to complete the community center by the end of winter. I have zero faith in myself to actually do that, but I'm hoping me saying this out loud will make the universe take pity on me, and I will somehow get everything I need for these bundles. Taking a look at the fishing bundles completely eradicates any and all faith I have in my ability to get the community center done before winter ends. I talked to Shane and Yuma in the town center. I am very proud of myself for getting out of my comfort zone and socializing with people. Then I perform the ultimate scallywag maneuver. I sell the pomegranate saplings I stole from Pierre back to Pierre for 6,000 gold. This has boosted my confidence, so I take a look at the spring crops bundle to keep myself humble. I buy 40 parsnip seeds and 20 blue jazz, tulip and kale seeds before finally watching Caroline's 2-heart cutscene. A weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I feel like I can achieve anything and everything, and yet all I want to do is cry because the travelling cart is still not selling a garlic or garlic seed. I do get a rare seed though, so, take the good with the bad and all that. I plant all of the seeds I bought, then I watch a cutscene where the best mayor in the entire world complains about the large rock that has separated Susan from the rest of Pelican Town. Instead of, actually working on getting rid of the rock, which I feel would have been a much better use of time than just complaining about it, but hey, what do I know? I collect my iron and copper bars from the mines and send my pickaxe to Clint so he can upgrade it to copper. I water all of my seeds, then I make 10 spring seeds, which brings us to a total of 200. Beautiful. My master plan is going perfectly. The tea sapling empire shall thrive very soon. I've got just a little bit of time left at the end of the day, which I spent gathering some last minute wood and fiber. Caroline has blessed us with the crafting recipe for tea saplings on day 13. This is what the last 12 days have been building up to. This is what I've strived to achieve this entire time. I have wasted many minutes of your lives trying to explain my very straightforward plan in a very complicated way. Allow me to be complicated no more. I make 100 tea saplings and toss them into the shipping bin, securing a 50,000 gold payment tonight. With that out of the way, I attend the Egg Festival. I spent some time talking to the villagers as this is a good way to introduce myself to more of them. I buy a very small number of strawberry seeds, that was actually very humbling, and the egg hunt begins. Like I've said in previous playthroughs, I do not mess around when it comes to this competition. The prize for winning is the beautiful straw hat, and I do not just want that hat, I need that hat. I need it more than you could ever imagine. So winning this egg hunt is not just an option, it is the solution. Nay, it is the one reality in which I want to exist. Upon returning to the farm, I plant my 6 strawberry seeds, but more importantly, I put on my straw hat. My spirits have been rejuvenated, my soul has been soothed, but above all else, my bank account is looking absolutely delicious thanks to the tea saplings I shipped this morning. I learned how to make coleslaw on day 14. From this point forward, I will not mention watching the Queen of Sauce TV show unless I run out of things to talk about. Which realistically shouldn't happen during the first 2 years, maybe even 3 years considering how much content has been added by all of the mods I'm using. Demetrius says he will set up a mushroom cave for us, then I receive my copper pickaxe from Clint. I immediately send this pickaxe back to him along with some iron bars to be upgraded again. The travelling cart is selling oil of garlic. It feels like they're taunting me with that one, so to get back at them, I give them some of my hard-earned gold in exchange for a coffee bean, a rare seed, and a rice shoot. I take a moment to completely embarrass myself as I fail to break the log in front of the secret woods. Then I buy 25 green bean seeds and 250 potato seeds along with 200 mixed seeds. I pick up cherry, apricot, and peach saplings along with 100 coffee beans. I began the day with over 50,000 gold. I now have 10,000 gold. I make poor financial decisions. I take a look at what Robin is selling. Thanks to the shop overhaul mod, items like oak resin, tree fertilizer, hardwood, kegs, and garden pots are available to buy. I buy 10 kegs, then I spend the rest of the day planting all of the potato seeds I bought along with an ancient seed I had. I did not plant my mixed seeds or green beans, but I did get my potato seeds watered, so a win is a win. I get extremely lucky on day 15 as it is a rainy day, but again, if there is one thing I prioritize, it is keeping myself humble. So I take a look at the spring crops bundle to remind myself that I still have not gotten access to a garlic. We also need rhubarb for this bundle, which means we need to unlock the vault bundle and complete it in its entirety in order to access the bus which can be used to access the desert. Or at least that's what I would have to do if it wasn't for the Walk to the Desert mod. As the title of this mod implies, it allows me to walk to the desert from the bus stop. It is quite a trek and does take a couple of minutes, but it will absolutely be worth it. I also find salmon berries along the way, which makes things even better. There are enemies around the place, but they can be avoided relatively easily, so it's not a big deal. Along the way, I stop at a deserted town. Completely devoid of any villagers, I spend some time searching the place, but find nothing. Maybe if I come back in the future, we could find something interesting here. But for now, I continue marching ahead, reaching the desert shortly after this. I take a walk around the area, collecting coconuts and cactus fruit before entering the shop here and meeting the owner of said shop, Sandy. She believes that us being here means the bus is up and running again. No, it isn't, but I'm too excited about buying rhubarb seeds to even consider telling her how I actually got to the desert. I end up buying 25 rhubarb seeds and 25 beet seeds before getting on the bus and going back to Pelican Town. I guess technically the bus is up and running again, so Sandy was actually correct. I plant my rhubarb seeds, then I spend the rest of the day chopping down trees. Day 16 is the most glorious of days, a rainy day. Joja veggies, parsnips, cauliflower and strawberries are all ready for harvest, which makes today a solid 10 out of 10. Clint has also sent us our pickaxe in the mail, that is splendid. I take the kegs I purchased from Robin and set them up beside a chest. I toss my coffee beans into them. In a couple of minutes we will have a nice batch of coffee ready to consume. Also, a few mushrooms are ready to collect in our mushroom cave, so I gather those. I also am still massively confused when it comes to going to the mines from this farm. I have no idea how it works. I don't even know if I'm going into the right cave or if I'm in the right area of the farm. I hope I'll be able to figure it out before I reach the bottom of the mines, but I don't have much faith that I will, if I'm being honest. I collect some coffees that I've been brewing in the kegs and head to the mines to continue working my way through the floors. The iron pickaxe is proving to be an invaluable acquisition as it makes getting through these floors easier and quicker than ever before. I pick up a diamond on floor 69, which makes me feel very happy. I take a quick break to throw some ores and quartz into the furnace, then it's back to business. I make sure to defeat any skeletons I come across and collect the bones they drop. Durin will give us access to the mines in Durin's Rest if I give him 30 of these, and that is something that really piques my interest. I make it all the way to floor 76 where I pass out. I was not able to get all of the bones I need, but I did make some good progress on it. I've also kept the furnace stocked with quartz and iron bars, which I can eventually use to make quality sprinklers. A beautiful amount of spring forage is ready on day 17, which I harvest and turn into 150 spring seeds. I have also collected a few Joja veggies. These sell for around 1000 gold each, so I'll be tossing every one of these I get into kegs. I make over 50 tea saplings and plant the mixed seeds I bought a couple of days ago. This is not an easy task and requires me to clear out even more space on the farm. At a certain point, I'm just going to have to clear out this entire field because, truth be told, it would not surprise me if I eventually end up planting over 1000 seeds here. I would like to have enough quality sprinklers to water around 400 or 500 seeds before I do that though. I toss my tea saplings into the shipping bin and spend the rest of the day watering my seeds. The CEO of the weather must have a soft spot for me as it is raining on day 18. This would always be a good thing at the start of every playthrough, but especially for this one as I have over 600 seeds planted at the very least, I would estimate. I head to my home away from home, the mines. As always, my goal is to make it as far as I can through the remaining floors, although I am very much focusing on collecting bones too. I pick up a bone sword on floor 78, which is an upgrade I will gratefully accept. Although I am only a couple of bones away from the target of 30, I must put that mission on pause for the moment as I have made it past the icy floors. Skeletons will not spawn past this point. This is a heartbreaking sacrifice indeed, although it quickly pays dividends as I reach floor 90 and obtain the obsidian edge sword. Despite my best efforts, however, I was not able to make it to floor 95 before I passed out. I did reach level 5 in farming though, and I chose the perk that gives a 10% bonus to the money I earn from selling crops. Jacob wanted us to give him a diamond, so I used my mailbox to do that on the morning of day 19, earning 2,250 gold. I harvest some blue jazz, which I need for the community center. I water around half of my seeds before I make a quick detour to the mines. I collect the ores and coal inside my chest here along with the 2 furnaces before heading to the saloon. I treat myself to a pizza here. Well, I say treat myself, but in reality I will be sending this pizza to Shane as I accepted a quest to give him one. I return to the farm where the smelting station has been moved from the mines to this little area beside our field of crops. Just like day 17, the rest of the day is spent watering our seeds. Day 20 is finally potato harvest day. I can feel any tidbits of sadness leaving my body as I swing my scythe across a field of beautiful potatoes. My inventory is filling up with potatoes in the same way my body is filling up with complete unfiltered happiness. I sell these potatoes to Pierre, earning around 30,000 gold. Quality sprinklers are now being sold. I pick up 30 of these along with 4 seed makers. I do want to clarify that both of these items have been added by the shop overhaul mod I mentioned previously. Quite frankly, I have no idea what to buy with the remainder of my money. While it is tempting to grab hundreds of seeds, I instead opt for a further 23 quality sprinklers, giving us a total of 53. The hard work never stops. In fact, one might even say the work has only gotten harder as I spend the rest of the day placing these sprinklers while planting any and all seeds I have. I wanted to make sure the existing seeds would also be watered, which means some of them had to go bye-bye. As in, I used my pickaxe to destroy a seed and put a sprinkler in its place. I did this multiple times, and it was a soul-crushing experience each and every time. It was worth it, however, as now every single seed I have planted will be watered, except for those in the top row of crops, but that's okay. Alright, day 21. We have officially reached the end of our third week on the farm, and I am feeling really good about the progress that has been made here. Especially when it comes to our seeds, specifically the watering aspect, which, as I mentioned, has been almost entirely automated thanks to the quality sprinklers I purchased. We have received a lovely pink cake in the mail, an item which I am, as always, thrilled to receive. I make my way to the community centre where I donate blue jazz to the spring crops bundle. I also donate horseradishes, daffodils and salmonberries to the spring foraging bundle. Next on the agenda is a trip to the mines where the goal is to obtain a couple more bone fragments in order to progress with Duran's storyline. This thankfully does not take long at all, as there is an abundance of skeletons in the mines. Once I have obtained the bones I need, I return to the farm, collect my warp totems and teleport to Duran's Rest. I decide not to start a fight with the slimes here. It seems I am now an entirely different person after acquiring quality sprinklers. Perhaps having to water all of those had hidden negative effects on my psyche that caused me to aggressively attack the slimes here. I give the bones to Duran, who rewards us with 200 doubloons. That is nice, of course, but the real reward here is we now have access to the mines in this lovely little town. I take a moment to browse the wares that Duran is selling. This is something I wish I had done sooner, as it turns out he is selling fish taco. Caroline loves this item, so buying some of those would have sped up the process of obtaining the tea sapling crafting recipe. But that's alright, it worked out well in the end. I enter the mines where the benefit of this area makes itself known immediately. There is a ton of copper ore on the first level. This could be quite the lucrative location when it comes to gathering ore in the future. This benefit increases tenfold on the second floor as iron ore appears here too. Zombies also show up on this floor. Maybe they drop some valuable loot? We shall find out soon, I reckon. Floor 3 is very similar to floor 2, but with even more ore. I am loving this mine already. If I can get my hands on some bombs, I could easily get 100 or maybe 200 copper and iron ore on floors 2 and 3. There is also a chest here that contains duranium. The dark yellow / dark gold pillars also drop duranium when you break them. It is getting late, however, so I'm going to call it here for the day. Day 22 begins with a mini harvesting session, then I use 300 wood to repair the broken bridge at the beach. This opens up the tide pool area, which should be useful in the future if I can figure out how to get a mod I installed up and running. I won't spoil it right now, but I will be sure to point this mod out when I do begin using it in the future. I enter Glorgan's home where he has a request for us. If we can bring him 40 duranium, he will make us duranium armor. I shall get to work on this as soon as I possibly can, Glorgan. I'm sure that armor will prove to be quite useful. I give 10 zombie flesh to Duran as he requested, earn 500 doubloons for doing so, and return to my new favourite area, the mines. As tempting as it is to mine all of the copper and iron ore, I instead focus my attention on getting to floor 3 so I can defeat more zombie foremen. These drop a special type of zombie flesh, and Duran wants 5 of these. This type of enemy, as I discovered yesterday, is quite the challenge, although I thankfully managed to take care of them without too much hassle. There were multiple close calls, but I emerged from the battle victorious, though not unscathed. It is slightly nerve-wracking taking on opponents as difficult as these, but nothing worth having is ever easy to obtain. I progressed to floor 4, where serpent-like monsters have started appearing. The small ones prove to be easy enough to tackle. The large ones are also fairly easy, surprisingly enough. I make it to the door in the middle of this area, where upon entering it, I encounter a character called Tenebra. Although we have proven our strength by making it through the labyrinth, we must now prove our intelligence by answering 3 questions. Question 1. How many letters are there in the Dwarven alphabet? Making a complete guess, I say 18, which ends up being the correct answer. Nice. Question 2 is a riddle, which is good news for me because I love riddles. I answer this one correctly, which takes us on to question 3. This is also a riddle, which is very much up my alley, as I said. I am very thankful that these are the questions I have to answer. Again, I choose the correct option, definitively proving my intelligence. See, I knew there was a few brain cells floating around in my head. The chest in this area contains a life elixir, which, like pretty much every other item I've found in the mines here, is very useful. I use the teleportation station, which has now been added to the 4th floor, to travel to Tenebra's home. Killer bees can be found here. They drop shadow honey, which is worth just a little bit more than 1000 gold. Just like the mines, I think this is going to be a very lucrative area for us in terms of boosting our bank account. If I can get the crafting recipe for Monster Musk, it should increase the spawn rate of these bees, which, assuming I can defeat them all, will mean I will have a metric ton of shadow honey at my disposal. Interesting, very interesting indeed. I add some ores to my furnace and toss the items I collected during today's adventure into the shipping bin. I did hold on to the zombie foreman flesh, however, as Duran wants that. These items earn me 40,000 gold. Alright, I think we found another moneymaker to go alongside our tea saplings. The morning of day 23 features another mini harvest, though at this point I think I've obtained all of the spring crops available to us at the moment. I have yet to decide how many mixed seeds I want to plant during summer. I might just focus on starfruit and summer seeds instead. We'll see. It's off to Duran's Rest, an area which I am sure I will become very well acquainted with now that I have discovered how valuable the items in the mines in Tenebra's home are. I enter the mines and make a beeline for the 3rd floor. There was actually zero dilly-dallying on my part. My goal here is to obtain 3 more zombie foreman flesh in order to complete Duran's quest, as he wants 5 of them. These enemies are especially nasty today, and I had quite a few close calls. I am very grateful to myself for bringing as many crops as I did, because my health dropped pretty low several times, and by pretty low I mean I actually got knocked out. That's not good at all. Dare I even say it is bad. Things go from bad to very bad, as I have lost 700 doubloons and my obsidian edge sword. But such is the risk you take on the road to fortune. I enter the saloon where I could have done a bit of shoplifting, but I respect Gus too much to do that. I have not, am not, and am never going to steal from Gustavo. I buy 50 of each spring seed as an insurance policy, we'll call it. How am I going to grow these seeds when spring ends, you may be asking? One word: garden pot. We can buy 10 of these per day thanks to the shop overhaul mod, so I'm going to make very good use of that. My goal here will be to fill a shed with them and plant our spring seeds in there. I also made the realization today that garden pot is not 1 word, but 2 words. I am tremendously surprised by that and feel slightly foolish. I grab 3 iridium sprinklers to cheer myself up after that certified silly goose moment I just had. I consume some salal berries to restore my health and energy after the unfortunate events that occurred in the mines earlier today, grab some food from the chests on the farm, and return to Duran's Rest. Oh, you thought I was done today? Nah, not even close. You see, I may have been knocked down, but I get up again. You are never gonna keep me down. I return to the mines with vengeance on my mind and determination in my heart. I obtain a bit of duranium, and then I use a warp totem to get back to the spawn area of Duran's Rest. Then I teleport back to the bus stop. Because I don't have a weapon. I forgot I lost it earlier today. In a very ironic and very, very cruel twist of fate, I also lose my pickaxe upon teleporting back to the bus stop. Like, it's gone. I don't know what happened to it, but it's just not there anymore. I am tremendously confused by this. Every fibre of my being wants nothing more than to eat an entire 5 tubs of ice cream and forget this day ever happened. The lost and found box in Lewis's house does not contain my pickaxe, which means I will have to return here tomorrow to see what exactly the story is with that. I do rectify another situation though, that being the case of my missing obsidian edge sword. I ask Marlin to deliver it to me tomorrow. I also take a look at his shop. He's selling various rings that could be quite valuable in the future among other items. But for now I must pass on them as I am broke. Not for long though, as the Joja veggies I threw into the kegs have been turned into Joja veggie juice, which should sell for quite a bit of money. Marlin has sent us our sword on day 24, which brightens my mood substantially. Now all I have to do is get my pickaxe and we will be back on track. Speaking of, Lewis has sent us a letter informing us that our pickaxe was dropped into the lost and found box last night. I head to his house. It is locked because today is the flower festival. That's okay, I can come back tomorrow. In the meantime, I attend the flower festival where I talk to all of the villagers that are present here. There are quite a few of them, which is good news for us as it means I can now send gifts to all of these people using the mailbox. I probably won't do this for a while, but at least they'll be there when I do get around to working on my friendships. I buy the tub of flowers crafting recipe and a rare crow, then I abstain from the dancing portion of the festival. I am far too preoccupied with getting my pickaxe back to even think about partaking in an activity such as dancing. In all seriousness though, I really do need to get my pickaxe back tomorrow. It cannot be overstated how vital that tool is to me being able to earn a ton of gold. And the more gold I have, the better the beginning of summer will be for us. Lewis pays us a visit on day 25. He is impressed with the progress we have made here on Lightman Farm and is very happy that I'm getting along with all of the villagers and making friends. I wanted to steal from Harvey, but his clinic was closed unfortunately, so my plan was foiled. I finally obtained my pickaxe from the Lost and Found box. Lovely, today is already a successful day in my eyes. I buy 10 garden pots, a purchase I will be making very frequently if not daily for the foreseeable future. I teleport to Doran's Rest and enter the mines. We have a problem. Immediately upon using my pickaxe, something feels off. It no longer takes just one hit to break rocks. Something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. I brush it off, convincing myself that the rocks have just somehow gotten stronger and require more than one hit to break. Of course, that is not possible. What has actually happened is the pickaxe I retrieved from the Lost and Found box is the starter pickaxe, not the iron pickaxe I had. I would be lying if I said this did not upset me a great deal, but like the hardened adventurer I am, I push forward, hiding my tears behind a mask of determination. All of that determination is used to defeat another long serpent to get the Ouroboros ring it drops. They are quite valuable with a sale price of 4,000 gold, so I will take as many of them as I can possibly get. With money on my mind, I teleport to the home of the killer bees where I spend most of the night defeating them to get shadow honey. I get knocked out and once again I lose my obsidian edged sword. In my defense though, I did not realize how hard those bees hit. I went from half a bar of health to 0 in one hit. That was not very chill of the killer bee. Something else that is not that chill happened. Marlin's shop is closed, so I have to wait until tomorrow to ask him to return my sword again. I make a Doran's Rest warp totem and use it. I am slightly embarrassed to admit this, but it is only in this moment that I realized you don't use up the warp totem if you use it while you're on the farm, among other locations. I will keep that in mind. Some bad news now, as I have the Durinium that Glorgan asked for and the zombie form and flesh that Duran asked for, but both of their homes are locked. On day 26, I finally make a Dwarven Medium Malter. This is the machine I need to toss the barley into in order to get the item Duran wants as part of the quests he has that revolve around crops and artisan goods. I head to Clint's where with a heavy heart I hand over 5 copper bars and 2,000 gold so he can upgrade my pickaxe. I could have done this with the mailbox, but the events of yesterday have clearly clouded my judgment. In other words, I forgot I can use the mailbox to upgrade my tools. I ask Marlin to find my sword, warp to Doran's Rest and give 5 Foreman flesh to Duran, completing his quest. He now wants 2 Ouroboros rings. This is going to be difficult. Not when it comes to obtaining the rings, but rather when it comes to handing them over. As I mentioned, they sell for 4,000 gold each, so I will essentially be throwing away 8,000 gold. But that is something I am ready, willing and able to do for Duran as a thank you for providing us access to the mines that have given us so much valuable loot. Next stop is the market where I give Glorgan the 40 Durinium he asked for. I use my doubloons to get 2 iridium bars. With that completed, I return to Pelican Town where I sell my shadow honey to give my bank account a boost and purchase 10 garden pots. I use the refined quartz, iron bars and gold bars I have to make 25 quality sprinklers. I spend the rest of the day clearing out the trees to make space for the planting of crops during summer. Marlin sends us our sword on day 27. That is a delightful start to the day. Pierre has also sent us a letter informing us that we can use a bouquet to date someone in Pelican Town and the greater Stardew Valley region. If you've seen my previous playthroughs, you probably know that I tend to ask Krobus to be my roommate instead of dating a villager. I will be doing something similar here. It might be Krobus, or if there's somebody else that can be my roommate, then I will probably ask them instead. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, it is off to Durin's Rest. I am spending quite a bit of time here, I know, but I would very much like to go through all of the combat/exploration quests that Durin has for us. Just so I can check one storyline, I guess we'll call it, off the list. I grab the suit of armor Glorgan made for us from the 4 chests inside his home. The boots are the only item in this set that say they provide us with bonus defense, so I don't think I need to wear the other 3 parts to get this bonus, but I'll wear it for now. It does look kinda cool. I enter the mines where I defeat pretty much every enemy I come across. Bear in mind, Clint still has my pickaxe, so I can't break rocks outside of using bombs. But I can still get some pretty valuable items from the enemies inside here. Once I acquire the Ouroboros ring, I leave the mines as I now have 2 of them. I give these to Durin, who rewards me with a new weapon, Durin's Warhammer. Neat. His next quest requires us to meet Tenebra. Luckily, I've already done so, which means I can simply warp to her home and immediately watch the cutscene where she gives us a quest. This one is simple, though it comes with a cost. She wants 10 shadow honey. Getting this honey should be easy, we've done it before after all. However, 10 shadow honey sells for over 10,000 gold. I don't really like the idea of giving all of that away, but I shall do it as I am nothing if not dedicated to the residents of Durin's Rest. With crisp trepidation, I get to work on defeating the bees here. I obtain 12 shadow honey, then I get knocked out. Luckily, I did not lose my weapon this time. What I did lose, however, is all of my honey. As has become tradition, I make my way to Marlin's where he wants over 12,000 gold in return for giving me back the honey I lost. I think I'm going to cry. On day 28, I learned how to make an omelette. No, I don't. I said I wasn't going to mention the Queen of Sauce TV show anymore. Clint has sent us her copper pickaxe, and a plethora of spring forage is ready to harvest. Alright, I'm liking this. Let's try to keep the good news train on its tracks. I would very much like to end spring on a positive note. Especially after the numerous kerfuffles I've endured during the last few days. I complete the spring foraging bundle in the community center, except I don't because I brought daffodils instead of dandelions. I feel a bit silly, but it's okay because after making a few bombs, I return to the community center, donate some strawberries, and finish the spring foraging bundle. I receive 30 fertilizer as a reward, and the boiler room bundles have now been unlocked. I take a look at these bundles, and they're not bad at all. I'm actually looking forward to tackling all of the bundles in this room. The only iffy one is the Monster Musk, as you unlock the crafting recipe for it after completing a special order for the wizard. But that bundle only requires you to donate 6 of the 7 items it has, so I don't have to get the Monster Musk if I don't want to. I make 75 tea saplings and toss these along with some items I picked up in the mines into the shipping bin. I head to the bee area where I very carefully take on the bees in order to obtain the honey Tenebra wants. And when I say very carefully, I mean very carefully. I am not taking any chances here. I'm taking on each bee one at a time to make sure I do not get knocked out. I give the honey to Tenebra and receive a new weapon. It is a dagger, which while I'm not too fond of the dagger weapons, this is actually a really cool one. I earn almost 50,000 gold from the items I shipped today, and that is the end of spring. It took quite a while, but we finally made it to the end of the season. I am very much looking forward to seeing what happens in summer.